Hello everyone. In my next few videos, I'm going to discuss about central dogma of molecular biology, that is replication, transcription and translation of the DNA. Now, before starting with the central dogma, in today's lecture, I just want to discuss about DNA as a genetic material, the event which led to the discovery of DNA as a genetic material. We know that the great George John Mendel published his report on monohybrid and dihybrid crosses which he conducted on pea plant in 1866. He clearly explained how the character are transferred from parent to progeny. But the molecule which is responsible for this was discovered in 20th century. In this lecture, I'm going to focus on different experiments which prove that DNA is the genetic material which present in the living cell and not protein, carbohydrate or lipids. Actually, in 19th century, there was a great debate in between scientific community about the genetic material. One group of scientists was believed that DNA is served as a genetic material in the living cell, while other group is in favor of carbohydrate, protein, and lipids. So the first solid evidence about the genetic material was come from the experiment which is carried out by F. Griffith in 1928. Griffith was a British bacteriologist who conducted this experiment on Diplococcus pneumoniae, bacteria which is responsible for disease pneumonia. He used two different strains of this bacteria, R strain and ES strain. Actually, the R strain of Diplococcus pneumoniae is a R for rough, strain which unable to produce polysaccharide capsule. So this R strain is unable to survive in the attack of immune system inside the host. So this R strain is non-pathogenic and unable to cause pneumonia. But the S strain of the Diplococcus pneumoniae, S for smooth. S is a strain which having ability to produce a polysaccharide capsule, and these strains can survive in the body and can cause pneumonia disease. So S strain is considered as pathogenic strains. F. Griffith conducted his experiment in 4 steps. In first step, Griffith injected living R strain into healthy mice, and we know that the R strain is non-pathogenic strain, so mice do not develop pneumonia and survived. From this mice, Griffith isolate living R strain or living R type of Diplococcus pneumoniae. Now, in the second step of the experiment, Griffith injected living S strain, which is a pathogenic strain, into the mice, and as mice developed pneumonia and died, and from the dead mice he isolate S type of the bacterial cell. Now in the third step, Griffith hit killed S strains, and then he inject this killed S strain into the healthy mice, and as per his expectation, the mice didn't develop pneumonia symptoms and survived due to killed strain. And from this dead mice, survived mice, he have unable to find any type of bacterial cells. In the last step, he mixed hit killed S type strains with living R type, and then he inject this mixture into the healthy mice. To his surprise, the mice developed pneumonia and died, and from this mice he got both the type of living bacterial cells, R type as well as S type. So at the end of Griffith experiment, he concluded that something is transferred from killed S type bacteria to living R type cells, which convert non-pathogenic R type strain into pathogenic S type strain. And this process, which he called as a transformation, and the molecule which lead to transformation is reported by him as a transforming principle. But unfortunately, Griffith unable to make any comment on the biochemical nature of this transforming principle. 16 years after the Griffith experiment, in 1944, three scientists, Avery, McLeod, and McCarthy, performed an experiment in which they use killed S-type strains from Griffith experiment. They use this S-type Diplococcus pneumoniae and then they extract and purify protein, carbohydrate, DNA, lipid and other macromolecules from this bacteria. Then they add this purified molecule into the test tube containing R strain, living R type bacteria. That means these three scientists used test tube instead of mice, and they found that protein, carbohydrate and lipid containing tube unable to transform R-type bacteria into S-type. That means the rough strain of the Diplococcus pneumoniae remain as it is. Only the DNA of the S-type bacteria is cause conversion of R strain into the S strain. So they conclude that the DNA of the Streptococcus pneumoniae is the only molecule which is responsible for conversion of R type into the S type. So they make the conclusion like DNA is a genetic material. But unfortunately, a large group of scientists was not convinced by this experiment which is conducted by these three scientists in 1945. So after 8 years of this experiment, in 1952, Hershey and Chase make final experiment which prove that DNA is a genetic material. First bacteriophage, they grow in radioactive sulfur. We know that sulfur is present in protein but absent in DNA, while second bacteriophage, they grow in radioactive phosphorus, as phosphorus is present in DNA but absent in protein. So in the first case, they got bacteriophage which having radioactivity on protein coat, while in second case, they got bacteriophage with radioactive DNA. Then they allow both the bacteriophage to infect host bacterium like E. coli. We know that initially this bacteriophage attach to the bacterial cell, and then in the next step they inject their genetic material inside the host cell. So here you can see that the star showing the radioactivity. In this case, radioactivity on the protein coat, while in the next case, radioactivity on the DNA. So when the virus inject their genetic material into the host cell, the radioactive protein remain outside in the first case, while radioactive DNA enter in the host cell in the second case. Now then they remove these viruses from the bacterial cell by blending, and after blending they check the radioactivity inside the bacterial cell. They found that in the first case no radioactivity was observed due to it is present on the protein and not on the DNA, while in the second case they found radioactivity inside the bacterial cell, which prove that DNA is the only molecule which is transferred from virus to the bacterial cell at the time of infection, and this is the clear-cut evidence of the fact that DNA is a genetic material and not protein. 1 year after the Hershey and Chase experiment, in 1953, James Watson and Francis Crick discovered the structure of DNA by using X-ray crystallographic data of R. Franklin and E. M. Wilkins. And for this discovery, both these scientists along with E. M. Wilkins received Nobel Prize in 1962 in medicine and physiology. So in today's lecture, we discuss these three important experiments which prove DNA as a genetic material. In my next lecture, I'm going to focus on discovery and structure of DNA. Thank you.